Welcome back to Silent Conspiracy. Tonight we travel to one of India's busiest railway junctions, a place where thousands pass through daily. Unaware they share the platforms with something beyond the living. Picture this. Past midnight at Ludhiana Railway Station in Punjab, one of India's cleanest and most efficient stations. The platforms are nearly empty, save for a few late-night travelers dozing on benches. Suddenly, the temperature drops. Lights flicker in the reservation office. And if you look carefully toward Platform 3, you might catch a glimpse of a figure in widow woman who died tragically on these very tracks, whose spirit refuses to leave. This is the story of the haunted Ludhiana Railway Station, where the boundary between the living and the dead grows thin, and where not one but two ghosts have terrified railway employees and passengers for decades. Tonight, we explore the legends, the eyewitness accounts, and the chilling reality behind one of India's most haunted travel hubs. Ludhiana Railway Station, established in 1864, stands as one of Punjab's busiest and most important railway junctions, serving as a crucial link in India's northern rail network. With 7 platforms handling hundreds of trains daily, it's known for its efficiency, cleanliness, and Victorian-era architecture. But beneath this veneer of normalcy lies a darker reputation, one that has earned it a place among India's top 10 most haunted railway stations. What makes Ludhiana's haunting unique is that the station harbors not one, but 2 distinct supernatural presences. The first is Subhash, a dedicated computer reservation system officer who died at his post in 2004. The second is the spectral figure of a woman in white, seen wandering the platforms late at night, a tragic soul who met her end on the railway tracks under mysterious circumstances. Subhash's story is the most documented haunting at Ludhiana Station. By all accounts, he was an exemplary employee, punctual, dedicated, and passionate about his work at the ticket reservation counter. Colleagues remember him as someone who genuinely loved his job, often staying late to ensure every passenger was properly served. In 2004, Subhash met his untimely death within the very walls of the reservation office, where he had spent countless hours. The exact circumstances remain unclear. Some suggest a sudden heart attack while on duty, while others hint at more mysterious circumstances. What is clear is that his death was unexpected, occurring in the place he loved most. According to legend, Subhash's devotion was so profound that even death could not sever his connection to the reservation center. His spirit, employees claim, remains bound to the office, continuing to watch over operations as if still on duty. Railway employees working near the old reservation center report consistent paranormal phenomena, temperature anomalies, sudden inexplicable drops in temperature, even during Punjab's scorching summer months when outside temperatures soar above 40 degrees Celsius. These cold spots appear without warning and dissipate just as quickly, often concentrated around Subhash's former workstation. Electrical disturbances. Lights flicker on and off with no apparent electrical fault. Computer screens display strange glitches or turn on by themselves during the night. The old reservation system continues to malfunction in ways that defy logical explanation. The watching presence. Employees working late shifts report feeling a presence standing behind them, only to turn and find no one there. The feeling is so intense that many refuse to work alone in the reservation area after dark. Shadow figures. Passengers waiting to book tickets report seeing what appears to be a human shadow at the counter, as if someone is seated there working. But when they approach, they find the position empty. The most chilling aspect of Subhash's haunting involves his former chair where he allegedly died. According to local lore, anyone who dares to sit in this specific chair invites a cascade of misfortune into their life. Multiple railway employees share eerily similar accounts. After sitting in Subhash's chair, they experience sudden illnesses, family problems, financial difficulties, and unexplained accidents. The pattern was so consistent that word spread quickly through the station staff. One detailed account describes a new employee who, unaware of the chair's reputation, sat down to complete paperwork. Within days, he developed a mysterious fever that wouldn't respond to treatment. His wife fell seriously ill. A series of minor accidents plagued his household. After a senior colleague explained the chair's history and he performed a prayer ritual apologizing to Subhash's spirit, his bad luck gradually ended. Today, that chair sits isolated in a corner of the reservation office, gathering dust. Staff members have tried to dispose of it multiple times, but each attempt resulted in technical problems or personal misfortunes attributed to Subhash's displeasure. The chair remains a silent testament to the employee who loved his job so much that not even death could make him leave. The woman in white, while Subhash's haunting centers on the reservation office. The second ghost at Ludhiana Station is far more elusive and terrifying, a spectral woman dressed in white who appears on the platforms late at night. Witness accounts share remarkable similarities. She is described as wearing a traditional white sari, her long dark hair obscuring much of her face. She appears most frequently on Platform 3, though sightings have occurred across multiple platforms. Her behavior follows a disturbing pattern. She appears to be waiting for a train that never comes. Sometimes she stands motionless for hours. Other times she walks slowly along the platform edge, dangerously close to the tracks. And then, without warning, she simply vanishes, not walking away, but disappearing as if she were never there. The prevailing theory about the woman in white's identity centers on a tragic death that occurred decades ago. According to local folklore, a young woman died on the railway tracks at Ludhiana Station under mysterious circumstances. Some versions suggest suicide, a woman who threw herself in front of an oncoming train in despair over a failed relationship or family pressure. Others whisper of murder, a woman pushed onto the tracks during a struggle, her death covered up as an accident. A third, more disturbing version suggests she was killed by her own family in an honor killing after she defied their wishes. Her body was allegedly disposed of on the railway tracks to make it appear as though she'd been struck by a train while crossing carelessly. What all versions agree on is that her death was violent, unexpected, unjust, the kind of traumatic passing that creates the conditions for a spirit to become bound to a location. The woman in white has been seen by dozens of travelers and railway employees over the years. One particularly detailed account comes from a ticket examiner conducting a late-night platform check in 2018. It was around 2 a.m. I was walking down Platform 3 with my torch when I saw her standing near the far end, just staring at the tracks. I thought she was a passenger who had missed her train. I called out, but she didn't respond. As I got closer, I noticed her sari was completely white and seemed to glow slightly in the darkness. That's when I realized her feet weren't touching the ground. I froze in terror, and in the second I blinked, she was gone. Not walked away, just vanished. Another consistent element involves the sound of a woman crying or wailing late at night. Railway staff and passengers report hearing these heartbreaking sobs echoing across empty platforms. The crying often begins softly, almost like the wind, before growing louder and more distinct. Those who hear it describe an overwhelming sense of sadness and despair. Some witnesses report feeling an inexplicable urge to cry themselves, as if the ghost's grief is contagious. Security guards have investigated the source countless times, only to find empty platforms with no living person present. Yet the moment they turn to leave, the crying resumes. Temperature drops could result from underground air currents or aging ventilation systems. Electrical problems might stem from outdated wiring in the colonial-era building. Psychological factors like suggestion, stress, and night shift fatigue could make employees more susceptible to perceiving ordinary events as paranormal. Shadow sightings might be caused by the interplay of artificial lighting and complex architecture. Crying sounds could be wind whistling through corridors or distant animal calls echoing in the empty nighttime environment. The haunting stories have become so embedded in local culture that they've affected the station's operations. New employees are given informal warnings about the reservation, often told never to work alone there after midnight. Maintenance staff perform a brief prayer ritual before entering the old reservation center for repairs. Passengers who know the stories deliberately avoid Platform 3 late at night. Despite these supernatural concerns, Ludhiana Railway Station continues to function as one of Punjab's busiest junctions. The station has undergone multiple renovations and modernizations, but the old reservation office, now partially converted to storage, remains largely unchanged. A quiet testament to Subhash's enduring presence. What truly happened to Subhash? Why did a dedicated employee meet his death? And why would his spirit refuse to move on? Who was the woman in white? And what tragedy bound her soul to these platforms? Was her death truly an accident, suicide, or something more sinister? These questions may never be answered conclusively. But for those who work at or pass through Ludhiana Railway Station, the stories serve as a reminder that some places carry their history in ways we cannot fully understand, and that dedication, tragedy, and unfinished business can sometimes anchor souls to the places they once knew in life. Perhaps the most thought-provoking aspect of Ludhiana's hauntings is what they reveal about human nature. Subhash, if the stories are true, loved his job so much that he couldn't leave it even in death. The woman in white, whoever she was, seems eternally trapped in the moment of her tragic end, unable to move beyond the trauma that claimed her life. Are these truly spirits of the dead, residual energy from traumatic events, or collective folklore that has taken on a life of its own through repetition and belief? The answer may depend less on what you believe about the supernatural and more on how you understand the human. Need to find meaning in tragedy and mystery? What do you think haunts Ludhiana Railway Station? Subhash's spirit truly bound to his beloved workplace? Or is this mass suggestion and coincidence? Did a woman really die tragically on those platforms, or has folklore created a ghost where none exists? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this journey into one of India's most haunted railway stations sent chills down your spine, hit like, subscribe to Silent Conspiracy, and ring the bell. Next time, we'll explore another place where the living and the dead share space in ways that defy easy explanation. Until then, stay curious, and the next time you're waiting for a late-night train, pay attention to who's standing beside you on the platform.